What's up, my friends? It's the Topman again, and we got a lot to talk about. Let's talk about some positive things that came out with the new video of MetaZoo. So MetaZoo is coming back March 28th, and they did a video that's kind of a teaser. It was like a 2-minute video that kind of showed some of the game mechanics. It showed a lot of new cars. Like there was probably 20 cars that they showed, maybe less, maybe like 12 cars that they showed. And we got a lot of information. We had like nothing. We had little to nothing, and then we were just given all of it. So it was really jarring. I've said that a lot recently, but let's talk about the positive things that we could take from this, because there's a lot of things that we can infer, that we can kind of run with now that we're given some kind of information and some teasers, and let's just talk about it. First of all, we talked, going back to another video that did, we're talking about things that would really make the zoo, things that I would like in the new zoo, things that we needed to have in the new zoo to make it still be MetaZoo. And I think I did 5 or 6 things, and out of the 5 or 6 things, 5 or 4 of them are in the new zoo. So we can't really say that it's not covering a lot of the bases. It's not covering all of them, but it's covering a lot. Number one thing was the beasties. The beasties had to return. The beasties that we love. The frogman. We haven't seen the frogman yet. But we need the Mothman. Mothman's back. We needed the Flatwoods. Flatwoods is back. There's all these beasties that we needed to have in the game, and they're coming back. So that's really important. We can't have the zoo without the beasties, right? Number two, reverse hollows. There's no reverse hollows in this new set, and I think that's a super plus. Um, I know only one person that really cares about reverse hollows like that. His name is Reverse Hollow Guy. Other than that, people really want the full hollows, and I think it's really harder to produce the reverse hollows because of the way that they have to print them. Kind of have to put the inside, and it takes more ink. So basically, when they do a hollows, usually they have a hollow sheet, and what they do is they print ink over the hollow. So it makes more sense to do a little bit of a ink rather than, I'm going in a tangent, but basically reverse hollows were kind of a lot to do, and not a lot of people like them. Granted, there's some great reverse hollows. My favorite of all reverse hollows is, like, I think it was the Chibi Ore or the Friend Ore, but it was the big box set, because I don't know, my daughter drew a picture of it. It's on her wall. Best reverse hollow probably of all time. But for the most part, reverse hollows are kind of, but it's a good thing because they're getting rid of them. So that goes with my next portion that I was thinking about, is the fact that old Zoo, you never really knew what the hits were, right? So you get a hit, and say it's native, for example. There's 19 hits in native, and then there's the SRs, and so you get a hit in native, and you're like, man, this card looks really good. I love this card. And then it's like a common card, and you're like, all right, well, yeah, it's cool, but it's common. And then you get a hit, and the art's kind of like, and the name is unpronounceable. And you're like, is this a hit? I don't know. Let me look online. Look at the 19. I'm like, oh, it's a hit! Yay! You can't tell by the card coming out if it's a hit. But the new zoo, you can do that because they have borderless cards. They have cards that are alt art cards. They really stick out. They really show you that, if you have like I think it's white or silver card, or if it's a full art card, that's a hit right off the bat. And I think that's really important. It helps you know which ones are the ones that stick out. And I spoke about this previous too. We need to have a core roster of who the beasties are that are the hits, right? And I think they did that as well. They showed you kind of who they're going to be pushing, as far as these are the guys you need to look out for. And a lot of the teasers kind of showed that. Not all the teasers, but a lot of teasers showed you that, when they showed you the Mothman, when they showed you Flatwoods. Actually, I don't think the Flatwoods is kind of a spoiler, right? This Flatwoods was actually a profile picture that was off the website. But still, it is something that they're showing you in some sort of way that, hey, Flatwoods is going to be somebody to look out for. They just showed you cards that, like the Monkey King, they're like, that's going to be a card. It's on the box. They showed you as the first teaser. That's going to be a hit. And it's important to establish those so that like, hey, when I pull this guy, it's going to be a big deal. So another thing is, the art itself. And I talked about previously, you can look back at videos, that we really need to make sure that this set is for all people, but especially for people coming up, the next generation. In order for us to survive as a genre, in order for this particular card game to survive, we need to involve younger people. Again, the people that were 25 and 35 when MetaZoo first came out are now 30 and 40, and not a lot of them are playing the games like the 25-year-olds and younger. The 13 to 25-year-olds that have a lot more free time than us old folks. And yes, we're old now. I'm almost 40. I'm getting up there too. We are old. Things are not for us. They're for the kids. And I've talked to a couple people who are in their 20s, 23, 24, 25, and they looked at this art and they said, "This is great art. This is exactly what I would do. I would choose in a lineup compared to the old art and the new art. This is stuff that I buy already, and the art looks similar to this. So it fits in the same vein as a lot of new cards that are out. The Lorcanas. I just looked through my Lorcana. I have like 5 Lorcana cards for my daughter. She loved it for like 5 minutes, and then she was done. So Lorcana cards look really similar to these. So they don't look that different when you draw them on the table. When you have a new school Pokemon, you have Lorcana game. You got a new the Dragon Ball Super Fusion World, and you draw this card down, the new MetaZoo, they look like they're really similar. And now a lot of people are saying that that's a negative. I think it's a positive and a negative. It's a negative because it's going to push some people away. It's a positive because it's going to bring in the people who are current TCG players but aren't fans of MetaZoo at this particular time. So it's not going to be something that's so different that it's going to scare them away. I remember playing Pokemon. I was one of the first people who brought Pokemon cards to my school, and people were making fun of me. I was in middle school, just started middle school. They're making fun of me for playing Pokemon because they were playing Magic, or they were playing whatever, and the card stuck out. It was very different. Now, Pokemon has changed a lot over the eons that I've been in school, but I'm just saying the fact that it stuck out, that when you bring something out that's so different, people can spot it from a mile away. Again, that could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. I'm chalking it down as something positive because, like I said, I've had a positive feedback by younger people that say that this is the type of artwork that they're looking for. Next thing is the gameplay needed to be more concise, more straightforward, and they did that. And they did that in two different ways. One is that they have made it so that you don't have to have a doctorate in order to understand this game. The text on these cards are not lengthy, or at least the ones that they showed, they're not taking up a full page. There's really not even room on this card to be able to do something like that. The card game is sort of straightforward. They showed us a playmat, and the playmat had only one discard pile instead of three, which is a big thing. I think that's really smart play there because, again, if you're going to streamline this for an app, or if you're going to streamline this for a different output of a video game, you need to have it streamlined and you need to have it to a wide audience can be able to play it quickly. So there's only 4 cards you can have down at a time. There's 4 lanes, so it's a lot more streamlined. It's a lot more concise in the gameplay. I think that's smart because you're going to bring people in who may not even have played a game before, or they play other games. They play games like Lorcana. They play games like Fab. They play games like Magic. The new Magic games are not what they were before, but they still, people who play card games can jump in there and not say, "Oh man, I need to learn, this whole textbook worth of words in order to play it." The playmat kind of showed you what you had there. And they even, this is another thing on my list, but I'll involve it right now since I'm talking about it. They have terrors that are brought back. So the terrors all have their own lane. So it seems like this terror, like if you're the woods, and it would say, hey, woodland creatures are going to be able to dodge attacks or something like that. So it seems like it's going to be able to affect that lane. So I guess that's kind of like their fourth wall effects. It's not fourth wall, it's a third wall because it's still part of the game itself. It's not explained to real life. That's really the biggest thing that's missing out of this game is the fourth wall. But so it is an effect that is not only affecting the attributes, but it's affecting the gameplay as well. So I think that's really important that sets it off and it's something that is positive in the game because it makes it unique in that way. So the gameplay is unique. Um, unique but similar. Like it's familiar because a lot of people who are playing card games now are playing games that are similar to these, but it's also unique in that it combines different attributes for games that including MetaZoo and other games that are out there already, and puts them in a way that it hasn't been done in this particular manner previously. So those are two kind of positives put together. And again, with the gameplay, you have the casters section of it as well. And the casters is another lingo that's brought back from the old MetaZoo. So you got the terrors, you got the casters, you got the cryptids. I mean, they're called creatures instead of beasties now, but you still got some of the lingo. You have MP, which I'm guessing is magic power or magic points. It seems like it's going to be like Ink in Lorcana, where you need to get a certain amount in order to win the game. So they're incorporating the magic part. That is a big thing of one of the things that has had said needed to be included in MetaZoo in order for it to be MetaZoo. So there's a lot of things going just from the gameplay, just from like the 2 minutes that we had to look at, that you can just extract a lot of information from that. Another part of the gameplay is it's really hard if you're playing MetaZoo to kind of get the auras that you want. That's my biggest thing, and I had said this the day before they debuted this video. I said, no, I really hope that they make auras a separate way, just kind of like Pokemon TCG Pocket. You get an aura turn. And I think that's really cool because there's so many times where you're playing a game and it gets really intense and you just can't get the aura that you need. And I think that's an antiquated way of playing cards, is to have to look for your resources in order to bring out the other cards. It kind of hurts the strategy because it's something that you can't. It's the heart of the cards, Yuki. You can't know what cards you're getting. That's it's already hard enough to get the powerful cards and get them in a certain way, and then work them in a strategy. But then also to get the resources to be able to pull them out and play them, it's very difficult. And I might get a lot of slack from that. I don't care. I'm happy that the auras have their own separate deck that they're going to be pulled separately, so that we can have more streamlined games. We have games that don't take 500 turns to finish because you can't get the aura that you need, and we're just bookmarking for turn, bookmark for turn, bookmark, 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 and you never get the cards that you need because you have all high set cards in your hand and you don't have the auras to pull them. And I know what happens if you played me, on the Discord, on the MetaZoo PA Discord. If you played me, you know that I have constantly gotten no auras, and I have them all at the bottom of the deck. I don't know. It just happens to be that way. So it kind of takes away a little bit of the RNG factor, the randomness factor, and makes it more strategic when you can't have to worry about picking the card to give you the resources, and then also picking a card that might give you some benefits in the game. So again, that's just a personal thing for me. I think it's a plus. I think it makes it live in um, a more modern world of playing card games. Same way the art does. The art might have been great to us, but it also was antiquated to a lot of people, and it didn't live in the 21st century. It lived in the 20th century. Not that there's a bad thing about that. It's just that it was seemingly a very throwback game between the art and the gameplay, and this is now a modernized art and gameplay, which again may be a con to some people, but it's going to be a pro when you're looking at the long term use of this game, the long term effects of it. You have to have a mindset that this is going to last 30 years. Let's try to make it last 30 years. If you have a game that should have came out 20 years ago or 30 years ago, and you expect that to last another 30 years, that's going to be an issue. People aren't playing the old way of Pokemon anymore. There's a lot of different strategies, a lot of different ways to play. A lot more people are playing it online on the app than they are in person, and we need to, for better or worse, put our own opinions aside and think, okay, that's where we need to shoot for in order to keep this game around. And again, if it doesn't fit your personal opinions, that's cool. It might not be for you, and you might find something else. There might be another game that comes out that will fit what you personally like on this. But I think that it might be a positive overall function to decide the game to be that way. So we'll have to wait and see. All right. So and the last thing we touched upon previously was about the lingo. I think the lingo is really important, especially if we want to have like a clubhouse type of feel to the game, to have it more personalized. So you say, "Oh, this is my game. This is how we talk. It's not book. It's not a card. It's that type of way. Like I'm not drawing I'm bookmarking. I'm not. It's not the discard pile is the cemetery. Now they are going to some of the classic versions. It seems like they're calling them cards. They're calling them a discard pile instead of the cemetery, and they've taken away kind of some of the lingo, but they're keeping the terrors. They're keeping the word cryptid, which is essential in my opinion. They're keeping the word auras. They're keeping a lot of things that kind of feel like MetaZoo, in a way that it's enough to say I'm playing MetaZoo, enough to actually say like this is a MetaZoo game. I think one or two that I would have left, I would have said it's completely not MetaZoo. I think it's a positive that they're keeping a lot of these things so that we can still hold this together and still say, hey, this is the MetaZoo community because of this, this, and this. So I think keeping that lingo is a great way of keeping that feeling together. So, all right, so those were like 6 or 7, maybe 8 items that I've chosen as far as the game itself or the product itself. But there's two bonus things that I think are positive as well. One of them is the marketing. We didn't have any marketing in original Zoo. We did prior to the Kickstarter coming out. I think there was an ad in the newspaper or a magazine, and there was a billboard for like a day or a week or whatever it was. A billboard in Times Square. Like nobody, I don't think a single person was like, "Oh, I'm going to become a MetaZoo fan because of the billboard in Times Square." I don't think that happened. I think the people that are already fans came out there to get a free promo. I don't think it was worth the money that was put into it to have that kind of ad. We didn't have anything on TV. We didn't have, we were relied upon to be the marketers. We had to be word of mouth. They had the partners that would have to show everything themselves because they needed to make money or they needed. I mean, that alone is a whole separate issue. But the partners were really leaned upon, and they needed to purchase a certain amount of product per order in order to keep around. So they had to continue to be a word of mouth, or else they were gonna lose out. MetaZoo relied on the fan base and the community to market themselves. And I don't think that's a 100% positive thing. I think it's positive now that they put out this video. It was 2 minutes long. It was really, high quality. It was really professionally done. It looked like a real game. Like MetaZoo original looked like a homemade project that we grew as a group together with. This looks like a professional product that was done by professionals in a corporate setting. It looks like something that they pump money into with specific goals and a specific design and a very specific look. Now, again, it doesn't flow with everybody, but I think at least they have an idea of what they want and a goal that they want and a trajectory that they want. That was way more than what the original MetaZoo has ever done. And the second thing is what I touched upon earlier was about the partners and the ordering and stuff like that. It is very easy to order MetaZoo 2, or however you want to say it, MetaZoo Rebirth. Um, I was previously an organizer and a store. I have a online retailer, and I had a store that's out of my house so that I sell stuff online. I sell on whatnot in different places. I've sold comic books. I've sold collectibles for probably 25 years now. So I think it was really easy for me. I was already preset. I was already set up through Cardio, and I was able to enter my information and get that back. I was pre-approved because of my status as an organizer. I ran games. I ran events. I've done a lot of things for MetaZoo as far as in the local shop kind of thing. I worked with local shops, and I also have my own location that I do different events and shows and all kinds of things for. So it was really easy for me to be able to purchase, and I didn't have to purchase $55,000 worth of product. It was very specific. What do you want to order? I ordered it, and it's on its way. So it's a lot easier than what the partners had to go through, and a lot easier than a lot of people had to go through previously to be able to get the product. Now, from where we're standing on getting the product to be delivered, we'll have to wait and see and kind of deliver that information as it comes. But previously, it was very difficult. I have friends that were partners with MetaZoo Original before, and they are having a lot of difficulties. This seems a lot more streamlined, just top to bottom, a lot more streamlined, a lot more professional, a lot more simple ways of dealing business wise in order to get the product to you, to get the product out there. Now, I hope to see MetaZoo to continue this route, to continue to put out information, and not wait for someone to put out like Nick Power and Strength to come out and force their hand. I want them to continue to move from this point on all the way to March 28th to continue to put out consistent, high quality, professional information, videos, whatever they can do to help boost this up, because a lot of people are buying it. A lot of people need that information out there so they can sell that product to people, get it into people's hands, and get a whole new group of people coming in that we didn't have before. Because again, we need to look at the future and focus on this new group, because this is definitely a product for new people, is a product for new TCG players or people who are playing newer TCGs. So it's going to be a whole uphill battle from here to acquire a whole new fan base. So right now, those are my positives that I think have come out of that video. I'd love to hear what you guys think. And again, let's discuss the positives of it. There's another video that I had that just had all my live reactions. I watched it and I reacted to it. If you have negative information or you have ideas or opinions that you want to discuss, put that over there. I'm okay to chat with over there. Let's focus on the positives in this video. What do you think are positives that came out of it? And what do you think about the video, my video right here, the video that they put out there? And I would love to hear more about what we're going to do when MetaZoo comes out on March 28th. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please be nice to each other. And thank you so much for watching.